Hey everybody, my name is Jonathan Tilley and I'm a personal brand strategist that helps creative people shine online and share their talent with the world. And I'm super excited to be here today with you with a lovely friend of mine, Lacey Morgan.
Hello.
So Lacey is an LOLB alum, or LOLB stands for League of List Builders alum, and we thought we'd get together and do a pre-recorded little chat that Lacey can share with all of her friends and share the news and spread the love about LOLB. So Lacey, let's go for it.
All right. Yes, I love it.
So Lacey was one of the first students in the first couple of years that I did League of List Builders. So you've seen the progression of the course,
Right.
and also progressed through the course on your own.
Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. So what was the first time like for you? What was the entire experience diving in for the first time in this new territory of seeing what League of List Builders says?
It was cool. I was excited to start up. I got very, organized. I'm like, okay, I'm going to set my time. I'm going to make sure I put aside, an hour or two each day to get this all done. And I approached it like I was doing it, gung ho. And it was a challenge for sure. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old at home, so trying to make sure that I was able to fit in all that stuff while they were, jumping on my lap and needing different things was definitely difficult. But I found that it ended up being something really good for me. It forced me to kind of take some of my time and focus, which is something you often need when you're interrupted many times a day. It's nice to learn how to, make it count.
Exactly. And I think there's a lot of moms in the League of List Builders
Oh
course.
yeah, yeah,
And I think you guys need like a separate LOLB moms club, or a
yeah.
moms Facebook group because it's like my kids are jumping all over the place,
Right.
and it's just so wonderful to see that, even in the midst of snacks, lunches, naps, trying to put the kids to bed, the day-to-day life of being a mom or being a parent, that you can still do League of List Builders somehow by
Yeah.
cramming in 20 minutes while somebody's taking a nap and before, picking up the kids from school.
Yeah. Well, and as I've found, it's not necessarily the quantity of time that you spend on it, it's the quality of time. You can spend hours and hours and hours doing marketing, but if you're not doing it right, it doesn't get you very far. So,
Exactly. So what was one of the things that you learned doing League of List Builders the first time around?
probably how to approach clients in the correct way, rather than making it all about me. And here's what I've done. I've done this and this and this. I mean, you want to kind of put your best foot forward. And it really taught me how to stop, think about what the client needs, and what they want to hear, and why they're looking for people to do what I do. Really helped me to kind of reframe things in a way that caught their attention in a much better way than just saying, hey, look, I'm here.
Exactly. So that's like the crux of the entire course. It's not just
Yeah.
a marketing course. I mean, yes, it's about marketing. It's about, sharing your talent with the world. But the main core of League of List Builders is, it's not about me. It's all about you. How can I be of service?
Right.
How can I change my mentality from I'm amazing, you'd be stupid not to book me, to hey, I see you, I hear you, and I can't even imagine, what a stressful day must be like for you.
Yeah,
I want to make your life easier. It's a totally different mind shift.
it is.
So what is one of those? Can you give us a specific example of how you used to market before doing LOLB, and then how you market now? Is there anything that you'd like to share that you'd like to show a little bit of a before and after?
Yeah, it wasn't a huge difference in the sense that, I mean, when I word emails, I make sure I'm always professional, and I come from a graphic design and a marketing background, so I was sure I knew how to do it, and I think I did decently, but there was a empathy and I think relationship kind of missing from my first contacts. I think I was jumping a little too far ahead of myself sometimes when I would introduce myself to these clients, when I just needed to kind of slow down and be like, hey, I'd love to start a conversation with you, rather than just throwing all my demos at them and overwhelming them at once.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned how to slow down and make sure that I started that relationship off on the right foot.
It's sort of like, I equate it to, a meal. You're going to get to the restaurant, have a drink, have an appetizer, have a salad, have the main course, have the dessert, right? And I think a lot of people just go straight for like the main course, bam, on the plate. And it's like, whoa, like, can we just build this? Can we have the appetizer? Can we have the before drink? Can we sit down and just be with each other for a bit? And then when the client's ready to be like, you know what, I have a job for you. Here's the main course. It's like, oh, okay. That slow unraveling progression of building that client relationship. Awesome.
Yeah. You don't scare them off.
Yeah, exactly. You don't scare them off. It's just the natural progression of how we, it's funny, when you meet somebody in person, you don't go, like when you met your husband, you didn't go after this first date like, let's get married, right? There was a natural progression of
right. Let's slow learn about each other.
Exactly, and especially with client relationships, it's the same thing, but
it is.
people forget, okay, there's that relationship, but also, since we're in an internet world, people forget that those relationships also need to be curated, just like they are in real life.
Yeah, it is. It can be difficult sometimes, and I am, believe it or not, I'm an introvert, so it's hard for me to sometimes not just babble on and babble on and babble on. So when I get nervous, I babble. So that's one of the things that I had to rein in, because I do it even in email. Sometimes I'll write too much and make it really lengthy, and your course kind of helped me whittle that down to the things that were really important. And not just have a big chunk of text for them to read.
Yeah. Sweet. Fantastic. So what were some of the results that you've seen from after doing League of List Builders, the first time, the second time, however many times that you've done it? What are some results that you've seen? And it doesn't have to be like, I've tripled my income. It can also be like, I have more confidence. What are some things that you're noticing on the other side of League of List Builders?
I think I've gotten a little braver about just asking, hey, can you use me, or could I work with you? One of the things that we did in League of List Builders was we identified what our dream clients would be, who we would really want to work for. And I shot for the moon. I put down, the big giant ones that if you're thinking you want to be in an animated movie, you would immediately go there. And I went for it. I followed the way that we were supposed to write up our cover letters. I followed the way that we were supposed to, find the contact info and approach these dream clients. And shockingly, I was able to connect with them. I got put on the roster for these amazing companies that I would have never dreamed I would get a foot in the door for. But all I had to do was ask, because they were looking for voice actors like me. And it allowed me to do some jobs and add these companies now to my resume, saying that I've gotten to work with these companies. So that was huge for me, because it brought along other opportunities, just being able to put these companies now on my resume. So that was amazing.
That's amazing. Good for you. Congratulations.
It was exciting. So
yay.
I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, the thing that you say of asking, I think
simplest thing.
Yeah, it's the simplest thing, but it's the hardest thing to do for some people,
Right. It's scary.
It's scary because you're like, would you consider me? And it's very vulnerable, and especially, from something that I've noticed from the research of learning about failure and asking and all these things, is that when you ask, there's a tendency that you feel like a failure because you need their help, right? So it's like, oh, it feels horrible. I feel like a failure. I feel like, why would you want me? Or all these horrible things come up in your mind. But let's reverse the roles and let's take work out of it, right? So pretend that you're walking down the street in a town that you live in, and somebody comes up to you and asks you, geez, I'm so sorry, I'm looking for Main Street. And you're like, oh yeah, it's just down the corner and to the left. And they're like, thank you so much, right? So we get a feeling of happiness, like success, like we're helping somebody else get to where they need to go. That person that asked us, where's Main Street, they get the information that they need. They feel like a success, right? So let's use that exact same idea, but instead of you asking, where's Main Street, you're just asking to be put on the roster of these amazing people's and companies' rosters. So by you leaning into the vulnerability and being like, here's what I have to offer, I'd love to be put on your roster. And they go, oh, great, we're looking for somebody exactly like you. Oh, great, perfect. Win, 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 right?
Right.
So what I find fascinating is that most people are just petrified of asking. They're not even willing to do the first step and lean into that vulnerability, craft an amazing cover letter, and understand that it's not about you, it's all about them and how you can be a resource to them. And ask and say, this is what I got. I'd love to be a resource to you. If not now, then sometime in the future, here I am. This is me. It's this beautiful unraveling of, this is who I am and this is what I want to be for you. If not now, then sometime in the future. And look at where it's brought.
Right. And it does come around. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes people won't answer right away. And sometimes you'll get a surprise email, a year later even with, oh yeah, you sent me an email a year ago and I was just too busy at the time, but we'd love to use you now. So
exactly.
It does come around if you wait and you're patient.
Do you know what's so funny? On a complete side note, before I created League of List Builders 5 or 6 years ago, I was, I still do my marketing and sending my stuff out in the League of List Builders Structure and Strategy. I just got an email last week from somebody I sent out to before I created League of List Builders, like 6 or 7 years ago. They finally wrote back. They're like, and they replied back to the same email that I wrote 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, how did you
find it?
I'm organized, but I'm not that savvy, right? Wow. And they're like, we finally have something for you. It's been a long time. We appreciate your patience. I was like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. So it's true. It's not about you. It's all about them. And it's all about how you can bring value to them. And the more people that you reach out to, statistically, the more chances that things are going to come back to you. So for example, this one contact needed 6 or 7 years to get back in touch with me, and I'm not saying do the course and then wait 7 years.
Right.
I'm saying, do the course, send stuff out and keep sending stuff out, that when those emails come back in, that you're ready to catch them.
Right. It'll be spaced out. Yeah.
Exactly. So, if somebody's on the fence for League of List Builders, what's one thing that you would say from your experience now as an LOLB alum to tell them?
There's a mosquito. Sorry.
The mosquito wants to get in on the course as well.
Yeah. It's he knows it's juicy. All right. So I would say if you're on the fence, this is one of the things that I recommend the most for people that are saying, they want to get into voiceover or they want to get into running their own business in any way. I think people forget that there's a business side of freelancing. And it's so much more important than just about any other thing you can do. You can have the greatest skills, but if you don't have the marketing know-how to back it up, you're not going to get very far. People aren't going to know you're out there. They're not going to be able to find you, and you're not going to be able to connect with the people you need to connect with. So I think it is so extremely valuable to make sure that you're putting your best impression out there when you contact people. And I would say that this gives you the tools to do that in the right way. And it also gives you accountability. One of the things I have trouble with is I procrastinate like crazy. I have a lot. Yeah, I have a lot on my plate, but it kind of forced me to sit down and take the steps each day and make sure I was held accountable by going onto the Facebook group and seeing other people doing the same thing that I was doing, and not wanting to let them down either. It kept me accountable. It kept me doing those steps that I needed to progress and really succeed. So that was really helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lacey, for all of your time today. Anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap this baby up?
Oh boy, just do it. Yeah, come join us. I'm coming back multiple times doing League of List Builders. I've done it 2 or 3 times, so I hope some of you guys will join me if you're watching, because it's really fun.
I mean, look at that shining face. I mean, look at Lacey just beaming. I mean, who would not want to be around that beautiful, beautiful face? Thank you so much, Lacey, for your time today.
Thank you.
For the people that are interested in learning about League of List Builders, come on over to leagueoflistbuilders.com to learn more about the course and to join us for this round of League of List Builders, Lacey and me and all the other wonderful alums and newbies doing the course. And we can't wait to welcome you on the other side.